Yeah, the last track for the album is Crash and Burn, which is it's a heavy one. I yeah, actually, Mike and I were working on that song quite a while before that album actually happened, and it ended up turning into what it did, where it was kind of like really dark and kind of ambient in the beginning, and then it just built into this big, kind of heavy, ugly mess at the end. But yeah, I've written about my mom in the past with her drug addiction to methamphetamine, and I kind of just wanted to capture these like moments in her life where I guess, well, basically just to preface it, that song is written from my mother's perspective of kind of, her journey through doing drugs and just how it impacted like me and my siblings and just my family as a whole. Because I've written about that topic in the past, but it was always more so from how I was feeling, and I kind of wanted to write it specifically from her perspective of, how it could feel to kind of like, trade your family in for this drug that like it obviously had to be like so addictive that it overcame like her responsibility of, like being a good mother and just taking care of your kids and, being there for my dad through their marriage. And, I just remember she kind of got deep into it because there would just be times where she was like a cocktail waitress at a bar, and so she would work like 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. and there were just these shifts where she would go away on a Friday night and she should have came home at like 2:30 in the morning, like that same night, and then she wouldn't come back till like Monday or Tuesday. And she ended up meeting another guy at this bar that she worked at, and he was the one who kind of initially was waving a lot of money in front of her and kind of, I think, started her addiction to methamphetamine and just kind of, it really shaped and kind of changed her as a human being. And it's, for me, it's a shame to some degree. I mean, like, I've coped with it a lot over the years, but there was, obviously in like my angsty, like teenage years, it was just kind of, especially when I started meeting other mothers and families, that you kind of start realizing that you got the short end of the stick as far as like a loving relationship with your mother. And it was just sort of about how, from her perspective, like the drugs like really had a big impact on her as a human being. Like she doesn't do it anymore, thankfully, but like it was a really short stint that she had being addicted to these drugs, and it's crazy how deep of an impact that it had, like on a permanent scale. Because like after she stopped, it didn't really change a ton. Like she really was still very kind of just insane, just had these wild theories of like her boyfriend knowing the president, the government trying to come after her, like me and my siblings conspiring with the government to come after her, her extended family being involved in pornography. And it was just, kind of my attempt to really try and tackle, from her perspective, how it could feel to kind of just like obliterate like your life and your sense of family and trading it in for this drug addiction, and ultimately just where it left us as a family today.